I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, number 2, open public forum. Anybody wishing to speak to the council? Cliff?
I'm Cliff Johnson, president of the Cold Spring Area Historical Society, and apparently one of the few who takes advantage of you people on this. This is so good to the audience to be able to talk to the council and to the city about what's going on or something that might not be on the agenda. I guess it better not be, huh? Anyhow, first of all, thanks to Third Street Brew House for not only supporting us, but other nonprofits with their tap takeover program. We had a very successful tap takeover a week and a half ago, and that's really nice for our budget. It helps a lot. So thanks to them and to all the people who came out to support us that night. The other thing I want to mention is that 2 weeks from this Friday, in other words, the last day of June, June 30th, 9:30 in the morning, the Friends of the Library and we are sponsoring Colin Mustful. He's an author from the cities. He's written books, 3 books about the 1862 uprising, and he's going to relate, since that happened mostly along the Minnesota River, that part of Minnesota, he's going to be relating it more so a little bit to our part of the world. Like there was a fort, I guess, north of Richmond a little ways, not a fancy fort, a barricade of some sort was put up. Same thing at St. Joe. I think there were 3 other places around here, right, Steve?
Painesville, some of them.
Anyhow, it should be an interesting program on some of our past history, and if you were watching the news recently, some of recent history, sculpture work in Minneapolis. So, thank you very much, and 9:30 on the 30th at the DEF.
Okay, thanks, Cliff.
Thanks, Cliff.
Anybody else? Kurt?
I'm Kurt Hemish, treasurer of the Cold Spring Baseball Association. First of all, I want to thank the city council for their time that we've had working together over all the years, and just about got everything completed at the ballpark of all our renovation that we have done there. Got a few things to get done on the party deck yet, but we got 2 big events coming up on Friday, June 23rd. Like Cliff just talked about how they had the tap takeover at the brew house. The Cold Spring Baseball Association on Friday, June 23rd has the tap takeover on that night. And then on Saturday, June 24th, the Cold Spring Baseball Association is going to have their 5th annual Day at the Park. The day begins, the gates will open at 1:30. At 2 o'clock, the Cold Spring Rockies will play the Richmond Royals in a 9-inning baseball game. At 5 o'clock, the Cold Spring Springers are going to play the St. Cloud Boudreaux in a 9-inning game. And at 8 o'clock that evening, we're going to have a concert in the parking lot put on by Blimp this year. So we have a new band coming this year for it. It's 2 big days that the Cold Spring Baseball Association has to raise money to keep up with all the upgrades that are needed at the park.
All right.
All right,
That's it?
thank you.
All right,
you.
Thanks, Kurt. Anybody else? Otherwise, we'll move on to number 3. I need an approval of the amended agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the amended agenda.
Doug makes a motion. Do I hear a
I'll
second?
second that.
Shannon seconds it. Any discussion on it? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Consent agenda. A, minutes, May 23rd, 2017. Recommendation to approve the minutes of the May 23rd, 2017 City Council meeting as presented. B, off-site gambling license, Big Lake Aquatic Association Incorporated. recommendation to approve Form LG 230 application for exempt permit to conduct off-sale gambling for Big Lake Aquatic Association Incorporated for pull tabs to be conducted July 29th, 2017 at the Cold Spring Brewing Company Distribution Center location. Furthermore, to waive the 30-day waiting period for said permit. C, Hometown Pride Festival, resolution number 2017-32. Recommendation to approve resolution number 2017-32, a resolution granting certain approvals for Hometown Pride Days on Thursday, July 27th, Friday, July 28th, and Saturday, July 29th, 2017, namely application for event license and street closures. Letter D, baseball event and temporary on-sale liquor license. Recommendation to approve an outdoor event at the Cold Spring Baseball Park for a concert on Saturday, June 24th, 2017. Furthermore, to approve a temporary on-sale liquor license for Cold Spring Area Baseball Incorporated for the day at the park event on June 24th, 2017 at Cold Spring Baseball Park. I need a motion
I'll
for
make
the
a motion.
consent agenda. Gary makes a motion. Do I hear a second? Shannon seconds it. Any discussion on that? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Number 5, Heritage Preservation Commission appointment.
As you know, the Historical Society, or the Heritage Preservation Commission was something that was passed by this council earlier this year, and there's 5 members to it. One is a council member who is Councilman Tyson, 2 Planning Commission, and then the Historical Society was supposed to appoint or nominate 2. They couldn't get down to 2. They originally had 4 applicants, but I believe 1 withdrew his name, so I sent you today the list, or yesterday, the list of the 3 remaining applicants, and it's of those 3 that you have to choose from. 2 of them are here today.
Who is here?
Yeah.
Yeah, could you just introduce yourself?
Yeah, and,
Bonnie Simmons.
okay. Okay, what do we want to do? My thought is to appoint the 2 that are here.
I'll make a motion
Okay,
to appoint Mr. Simmons and Mr. Pennick.
I'll read the motion that way then. Should I read the motion that way? Recommendation to approve the appointing of Mr. Pennick and Mr. Simmons to the Cold Spring Heritage Preservation Commission as representatives of the Cold Spring Area Historical Society. Gary makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Doug seconds it. Any discussion on that? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Congratulations, you guys.
Thank you.
And thanks for doing this.
Thanks for coming
I'll
to the
need your
meeting.
contact information so I can get you. So Steve, I have yours. I'll just need something.
No problem.
Okay.
All right. Number 6, resolution number 2017-30, supporting the Stearns County All Hazard Mitigation Plan. What is this?
Every 5 years, the county has to go through their plan per the federal disaster mitigation law from 2000. They have to report to FEMA any updates or changes. And one of the activities is that every jurisdiction within the county has to pass a resolution supporting the change in the plan. It's still in draft form, but they do need it by the end of this month, so I have the resolution. When they have it done, they will send us an electronic and hard copy version of the plan with the specific Cold Spring pieces, what our goals and what we're looking at. We haven't changed them, so they're still the same as the last.
Okay, I'll read a recommendation to adopt resolution number 2017-30, a resolution supporting the Stearns County All Hazard Mitigation Plan. I need a motion up or down.
Make a motion to approve.
Jamie makes a motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Shannon seconds it. Is there any discussion on it? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Okay, number 7, resolution number 2017-31, approving of the special law enacted to allow an on-sale intoxicating malt liquor license for the Cold Spring Baseball Park.
During this last legislative session, Representative Howe proposed to allow the baseball park and the association, as the representative of the baseball park, to serve strong beer as opposed to just a 3-2 license. And it was passed by law by the House and Senate, House and Senate, and the governor signed the bill. And for special laws such as that, where it specifically is written, the Cold Spring Baseball Park, for the association to have an on-sale intoxicating liquor license, the city has to accept that law. And so that's what we're doing with this, is the resolution allows, it says that the city does approve of letting them do that, and then once that's done, I send it to the Secretary of State, who then processes it, gets it to the Alcohol and Tobacco Board, and then they can apply for that license. So they had always wanted to do it so that they could serve Cold Spring Brewery beer, which makes sense to sell at the Cold Spring Baseball Park.
Is that going to be this year already? Or
Well, it depends on how
till-
quickly
Okay,
they
so
process
it's
this.
going to,
It could possibly happen late July,
Oh,
early August. It might
okay.
not be till next season, depending
Okay.
on how long it takes to move through the state.
all right. Oh, okay, I'll read the recommendation quick. Recommendation to approve resolution number 2017-31, a resolution approving of a special law enacted by the Minnesota legislature during the 2017 special session to allow the city to issue an on-sale intoxicating malt liquor license for service at the Cold Spring Baseball Park. Do I hear a motion up or down? Shannon makes a motion.
I'll second.
Jamie seconds it. Any discussion on that? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? That motion carries. Number 8. Resolution number 2017-33. Resolution authorizing the application. Yeah, this is amended. That's what you were getting up. Okay. Okay, resolution number 2017-33, a resolution authorizing application to the 2018 capital budget.
Every year when we apply for a capital budget for bonding bill money, so like we will apply again, it's due Friday for the wells and the connecting. The city council, it increases your chances if the council approves a resolution for it. Not a huge increase because you know how politics works, but it is important to have all the steps done. And so this is the resolution that needs to be passed since it's due on Friday.
Okay. Recommendation to approve the resolution number 2017-33, a resolution authorizing city staff to make application as part of the 2018 capital budget application process so as to be part of the governor's 2018 strategic capital budget request to the 2018 legislature. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Gary makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Doug seconds it. Any discussion on that? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. Number 9, Police Department report. Jason Wood.
Oh, it's your turn.
It was impressive, though, how you went from one chair to the other without missing a beat.
Uh-oh, there's a resolution, something changed. So what I have is the year-end report for 2016. A little later in the year than would be liked, but with everything going on this year, kind of one of the things that got pushed back. So first page is just our current staff. We're currently going through hiring process for, or promotion process for a sergeant. We have interviews on Thursday, and then after that, we'll go through a part-time and a full-time position. So, so far things are going well. Overall, we have a really good group of people that work good together right now, so fun department to be a part of. Next page is the overall call load. This year we had a total number of calls of 6,686. That's up from just over 1,000 from last year. Some of the reasons that you've seen the increase over the last 4 years is in roughly halfway through 2014, we went from a lot of paper stuff for our calls to computer-aided dispatch, which increased, it streamlined a lot of things. The officers weren't as tied up doing paperwork as they used to be, so they were more available to run traffic, take calls, be more proactive, so that definitely helped. Another thing is in 2016 we added the full-time float/investigator position, so we had another full-time person out there working on the roads. In Cold Spring last year we had 4,498 calls, and then Richmond was 1,245 calls. In Cold Spring, yeah, you can see I kind of went over the increases and kind of why that was. We had a total of our biggest call load was 2,321 total traffic stops. We're a very active department as far as traffic enforcement, especially with 23 going through. One of the big things we've been pushing, especially this year, is the Highway 23 initiative, trying to make roads safer. So we are a very active department in that. But with that being said, the next graph is kind of a breakdown. The blue line is the number of stops per month. The red line is warnings, and then the green line is citations. And you see there are some months where the warnings exceed the stops, and that can be caused by, so say we stop somebody for speed, and then when we get up to the car, their speed, no proof of insurance, expired tabs. If you cite one and you warn the other twos, that's 3 contacts for 1 stop, and that's why the warnings or citations can kind of skew from the total number of stops. Just to explain that to everybody. Outside of that, we had 223 medicals that we helped with, 14 open doors that we located, and then 157 suspicious vehicles, persons, items in the city of Cold Spring. Some of the things that officers participated throughout the year, one of the big ones was, or one we did later in the year, was the National Prescription Pill Take-Back Day, where we collected 72 pounds of unwanted, unused, or expired medications, which was a good thing, and I think we'll continue to do in the future. And then just some of the events we attended. One of the big, and then we received a DARE grant again this year for $1,200. And actually, Ruben's in South Dakota right now going through DARE instructor school for the next week. Well, it's a 2-week program. It started yesterday, so he'll be out there and be able to offer DARE to the school up here next year. So they're excited about that, and we're excited about that too. We also received a grant from the Central Minnesota EMS to replace a matching grant to replace one of our defibrillators. Some of the other big things that we helped, we had the naming of the Decker Memorial Garden out front here. That was pretty well attended. National Night Out was the 2nd year last year, and then the bike safety or bike rodeos, that kind of thing. Again, I think this is the 3rd or 4th year that we had the Secret Santa donation of $500 that we got to hand out. That usually goes over pretty well when some people get stopped on a traffic stop and they end up walking away with a little bit of cash in their pocket. So it's fun for the officers. It's fun, it's a nice surprise for them right around the holidays. So really thankful for the individual that continually donates to that. Another one that officers started doing recently is attending the school lunches at all the elementary schools in the area. It's been going over, at the end of the school year, it was going over really well. They were getting involved in kickball games and basketball and stuff at recess, and being able to interact with the kids, it turned out really well so far. Same thing with Richmond. The numbers increased. They've almost doubled, just under doubled over the last 4 years, and for the same kind of reasons, added officers and just streamlining the processes. Overall, the traffic stops are very similar, very active in patrol, but as you can see, we issue a lot more warnings than we do citations, which is a great learning process for everybody, so definitely helpful.
Jason?
Yes.
Excuse me. For the Richmond report, it says of the 669 traffic stops, there were 670 warnings and 210 offenses. Should that be of 800 and some traffic stops, possibly?
Like I said, so there's 669 traffic stops, and I kind of explained you can have, if you warn for more than one thing, if you warn for expired registration, no proof of insurance, suspended object from the mirror, so you have 3 warnings for one traffic stop.
So there were a fair number then where you stopped them for one thing and found other issues as well.
That happens quite often.
Okay.
So, and that's why you can get more warnings than you do have
Yep.
stops.
I assumed that, but I just wanted to ask.
Yep, no,
if
that
it
makes
was
sense.
Or a bigger number. Thank you.
Yep. And then we had 79 medicals that we helped out with over there, and then 46 suspicious vehicles, persons, items, that kind of thing. But and then the graph shows, yeah, we give a lot more warnings than, like, especially like if you look at August, there were far more warnings where we gave out a number of warnings for each stop because the numbers exceeded quite a bit. And then there's a picture of some of the officers attending the school lunches there on the bottom of that page. Crime prevention, like I said, one of the things is we're hoping the school is excited. We're excited to go back to, we've been teaching Counteract for the last number of years. We're going to go back to teaching DARE. I remember, I think Phil was my instructor when I went through school here. So it's something that I remember. It's something I think kids, it gives a big impression on kids. It's a 10-week program, so the officer spends a lot of time in the classroom, and I think it helps out quite a bit. It's something that sticks with them and lasts. Officers, like I said, started attending all the elementary school lunches. Riley and I did a number of canine demonstrations. The big one that's been going on this year is the Highway 23 Crash Reduction Initiative. Up until about a month ago, we had no fatalities in the area. We did have one at 23 and 71 where there was a fatality. So we need to continue to educate people on why driving safe is so important. With the canine program, started out the year with Abby and Riley. Abby was retired towards the end of last year. We thanked her for her service. Riley and I had 64 drug-related contacts. I think that almost doubled what we did the previous year. So me learning how he works, him learning what I expect, and just getting a little bit older has definitely helped. Turned into a really good year for us. And then we also did a number of demonstrations for the local elementary schools and that kind of thing. Overall, and then also with the canine program this year, it's expected that this fall we'll get that second dog and have a handler selected and go through that process. Usually they get ordered and everything in November, towards the end of November, and end up in the country around December. So that'll come up later this year. Some of the things with the SRO, the School Resource Officer, Ruben started teaching a class also at the school, as well as being involved with everything. He started teaching a class, Intro into Criminal Justice, so he's getting more involved. It filled up last year. They opened it again for next year, and it's completely full again. So I think it's well attended and it goes over very well. And from everything I've heard up there, it's a nice class to be a part of. So he's doing very well up there. We did have one life-saving award last year. Is actually Officer Spoden and I. We ended up, it was here in town, ended up doing CPR on a guy, shocking him, and with rescue we were able to get a pulse back by the time Gold Cross got there. And as far as I know, he is still up and walking around, so things went well. So. And just overall, this year, the end of last year, the beginning of this year has brought along a lot of changes. I think things are going smoothly. I think things are, productive and still professional, and it's thankful to, everybody in the community working well with the council. Everybody's been very supportive here, so just like to thank everybody for that. And then the last couple pages are just a breakdown of individual numbers. If anybody has questions on them, I can definitely go over them and try and answer them as best I can, but I don't think I need to run down a whole bunch of numbers. You guys would be asleep by the end of it, I'm sure. Any questions on the year-end stuff?
I don't have any.
Okay,
Just a big thank you, all you guys.
thank you. And then just some recent stuff that was going on in the last 2 weeks. One of the officers conducted a traffic stop. It was actually an individual that lives in the area, had just made a trip down to Minneapolis, was on his way back. He was stopped, he found over 5 ounces of marijuana wax, over $800 in cash. And we were looking into seizing the vehicle, but I don't think it's worth enough to make that worthwhile. But overall, it was a great stop. It was coming back into the community. He's now on the radar. We know what's going on, so it was definitely good to get it before it got back to the community.
Yeah.
Also like to thank everyone that came out to the bike rodeo on June 6th. And congratulations to Caden Reed and Kylie Gopinski for winning the drawing towards purchase of new bikes. And then also thank the American Legion Auxiliary for making that donation for the kids to win, and State Farm Insurance for helping out on that evening. And then one other thing, in case anybody was out on 23 Saturday afternoon, we helped out with a pursuit. It was started by State Patrol south of Paynesville. Paynesville got involved. They got up into Cold Spring here, actually made a U-turn by Red River, and went back towards Paynesville. And in that time, the gentleman was identified, so we discontinued the pursuit because traffic was getting kind of heavy. But as far as I know, he still hasn't been located, but we know who he is. Nobody was injured. Everybody went home safe. So good decisions were made in the afternoon there. So just in case anybody was out there and seeing what was going on. So
All right.
that's all I have.
Anything?
Thank you.
Nothing? Thank you.
Thank you.
Jason, thank you.
Number 10, Public Works Director John Stevie and Brian Lynchen. City Engineer Brian Lynchen.
Good evening. First thing on my list is the Jim Winter Alley. It's been on the burner for a couple of years now. His alley was getting real bad.
Where is this located?
So basically just kind of southeast of the ballpark. You know where that, so it'd be 3rd Street South. There's a dead end down there, green 2-story. It's right between that green 2-story and the other house to the north.
Oh,
So it's
Okay.
it's been paved, it's alligated, it's bad. It's been in the budget for a few years.
mhm.
And now this year with the project, we got a pretty good price from Knife River, so. So with that, Kramer's gonna remove the existing pavement and prep for bituminous, and that's $4,300. Budget of future capital improvements fund. And then Knife River to pave it after for $4,550. Also, the future capital improvements fund.
All right. I'll read the
Can I ask
recommendation.
a question on this one?
Yes,
before?
go ahead.
Would it be, is it reasonable, once we fix this, to give this to him so he owns the land in the alley, since I'm assuming there's nothing else that can get built back
There
there?
had been talk about that, and it hadn't really gone anywhere, so
Yeah, realistically, I mean, it serves 2 homes.
Right.
Essentially
Oh, it
one,
does.
well,
so
essentially
so
one
it'd have to be two.
to the side of their backyard, and then, of course, the end of it is Jim's house, so. Is it an alley? I guess it is an alley, but. is
I
it
think
more
it's
of a-
actually a dedicated street, but I'm not 100% sure.
So,
There had been talk about it, and we can look into it.
Quit planning, talk about that?
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
Recommendation to approve the, to approve the Kramer Trucking and Excavation bid to prep the Winter Alley at a cost of $4,300, and to approve the Knife River bid to pave the Winter Alley at a cost of $4,550, for a total cost of $8,800 to be paid out of the Future Capital Improvements Fund, Fund 33. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Gary makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Jamie seconds it. Is there any discussion on this? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
All right, the next one is the paving of the baseball parking lot. It's the first half when you drive in underneath the sign. It goes back to about where the chain link fence by the dumpster ends there. It's been something that's been in the budget. With us not changing the grade at all, we can save quite a bit of money by taking out the old tar ourselves, grading it with our blade. So as you can see, if you drive by now, they're in the process of doing that right now, Ron and Pete and the guys are. So the city's gonna take care of the prepping, and then Knife River to pave it for $13,500. We initially budgeted for $11,320, and that didn't get us quite back to the fence like we wanted to. So that's why I have for the capital expenditure $64,13, the parks for $11,320, and then the rest out of the future capital improvements fund of $21,080. We also got bids from Hard Drives, and they were $17,000 for the parking lot, and then also $9,000 for the winter alley. And the reason why we got it so cheap from Knife River is because of the project they're in town, they're paving, and they basically gave us the same rate as they did the project for, which, as you can see, is quite a big savings. So I need a motion on that.
Recommendation to approve the bid by Knife River to pave the baseball park for a total cost of $13,500, of which $11,350 is to be paid out of Parks budget line 6413, and the remaining $2,180 from the future capital improvements fund number 33.
I'll make a motion.
Shannon makes a motion. Do I hear a second on that?
A second.
Jamie seconds it. Any discussion on that? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries.
And just to add to that, we also did, the Baseball Association came up to us and said, well, you know, has there ever been any thoughts about paving the whole parking lot? And we, as a city, we said not at this time, but they wanted to get some bids anyway, as long as Knife River was doing it. They did get a bid to do the rest of the parking lot. It was $27,000. As of now, they have no intentions of doing it after seeing that number. So just kind of a heads up, we did look at the whole parking lot as well. So, well, water update. We had our quarterly meeting with the DNR on June 6th. It was very informative. Right now, we're working, myself, the city, the brewery, and the DNR are working on crunching some numbers together for what the brewery plans on needing in the future, near future, with their expansion. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, I should say. We could sit here and talk about it till 9 o'clock tonight, but I'm not going to do that. So we're working on some pretty important numbers right now, and what's going on. They kind of showed us an overview of the affected area. It's a very large area. I think it was 126 square miles or something of area, which is, in our opinion, some serious overkill. But that's what the DNR's got going on. Hopefully there's some serious cost savings in our near future with what's been talked about. We'll keep you updated on that. And when was it done? Friday or Monday, I sent out to the DNR all of our plans for the future with our water, what we need, what the brewery needs, because it's definitely in a large amount over what our appropriations are now with the brewery's expansion. So hopefully, I told Luke Skinner, the head of the DNR, that, you know, we're going to be prompt with our information. We want you to be prompt back, and we need to know about this now because they're expanding now, and they're looking at starting production at the end of the first quarter of next year. So we need to get our stuff in a row and get it figured out for them as well, so they have water. I mean, they'll have water, but we need to get the legal side of it done with the DNR so it's appropriated. So that's kind of an update on that. We hired 2 Ricori kids for the part-timers. They both had very good lawn care experience, and they've both been working out well. Other than that, that's about all I got.
Anybody got anything for John? I got one question. Last year when you did 14th, the plugging and everything, the sand. I know you waited with the alleys between Main and First to pick up the loose gravel. Did you ever do that? I was talking to some neighbors and they said they
Is there a
don't,
lot of it up there?
there's some, yeah, there's along the sides, yeah.
Or we'll be able to get it with the street sweeper?
Yeah. Do
Yeah, I don't know if,
I don't
I thought
remember.
we did last year, but I guess I don't know. I can't remember offhand, but.
I don't remember seeing anybody going through there, and two of my neighbors said, I don't remember that either, so
Okay,
I told
yeah.
them I'd ask you about it. And
We definitely can do
see
that.
what's-
Paul will be out with the sweeper here again shortly, catching up some of
Oh.
the grass clippings and stuff that
Okay.
end up on the road, and
Yeah, just run through them alleys once.
we can do that.
All right, thanks.
Sounds good. And the project is going good, but I'll let Brian talk about that.
All right. Then we'll go to number 11, City Engineer Report, Brian Lynchen.
Mr. Mayor and Council, Main Street project is going good. We are looking at putting curb down tomorrow. So hopefully the weather holds off in the morning and we'll start putting curb down, and after that it's a little more gravel. And then it's kind of going to be fighting out who wants to get in first, the pavers or the sidewalk guys. So we're moving right along. Everything appears to be on schedule yet.
Good.
Right, how far are you gonna go with the curbing for right now?
Right now, it sounds like we're going all the way through the intersection at Second, almost to the old Schweel Hardware,
Okay.
and then down Second as well.
Oh, down second?
Yeah, that is prepped as well. So as long as it was ready, we were going to do it. So the last stretch will be from Schweel to the bridge. So there's a little more work to be done in there. So
I think
that-
the only holdup with that was that gas line and that fiber, right?
gas line and the fiber, and we ran into, we did a bunch of drilling for bedrock. In the areas where we drilled, the bedrock was fine, and then as you got out to the curb line, it kind of came up a little. So we're gonna end up pulling a little bit of rock out of there to take the hump out. Meeting with the gas company tomorrow because their line was a little higher than they had told us. So gonna have to work with that, but all things will work through. So that stretch will be a little behind, and then the completion on that was quite a bit later, so we were more concerned about the first two.
People keep asking, when is that going to be complete this fall? Do we have a set date?
The
or
first two
or-
blocks are
Yep, mid-July.
mid-July, and then the other two are, it could be, I don't recall off the top of my head, but it might even be into September.
Yeah.
Typically, we give them into late August, early September, sometime in there, to give them the flexibility. And so that last stretch could be up to that point, but I think Kramer wants.
Somewhere around mid-September, it should be complete by then.
Yeah, it should be complete by then, and I think Kramer wants to keep moving on it. And so the sooner we can figure things out, they want to be done with it as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, thanks.
Yep. Any other questions on Main Street? County Road 2, the fence has been delivered.
Has?
Yes.
Yay!
It's currently laying on the ground, but it's delivered. They were out today. Basically, it came on a bunch of pallets, and they had to sort out the pieces. Each piece is custom made for each location, between the posts, for elevations, for everything. So, a matter of right now, they I think spent today putting the pieces where they're supposed to go, and then they'll start putting it up. It's the process. Normally, they would put all the posts up and then put the fence panels in, but the way it's designed and the way the post is, they're going to have to kind of work as they go. So
Okay.
it might slow them down a little. I anticipate they'll be out here, I'm guessing, all of this week and probably part of next.
Oh, okay.
So keep an eye out. Took a look at it. I think it's going to look really sharp.
Mm-hmm.
So
I seen it laying there. It looks nice that way already.
those
so.
panels aren't light. They're about
No, I believe
300
it.
pounds a piece. So. And then, as you saw, the last lift of pavement was put down last week.
Mhm.
Striping is almost done. I think they had a breakdown of their machine, so they'll be finishing some up, it sounds like, this week.
Okay.
And then once the fence is in, we'll get some black dirt down in those planting areas and some plants in, and we should be pretty much done.
Good. That'll be nice to see.
Mm-hmm. Questions on County Road 2?
No.
And then I did have on here North Point 5. I've been working on a cost estimate for Ray Schreiner ahead of the planning commission meeting. So we're just working on finishing that up, getting it to him ahead of the meeting next week.
Okay.
That's all I had.
All right. Any questions for Brian? Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Number 12, City Administrator Report.
All right, we'll start with the legislative update. As some of you know, this last session, there were a lot of bills that were going to try and limit how local governments can act, and one of them was the small cell towers. We had thought I know that Councilmember Knapp and the mayor and I went down to the legislative day at the Capitol for the League of Minnesota Cities, and we thought the small cell legislation was going to go away, and then at the last minute it came back, but it got revised enough that the league was neutral on it, as opposed to all session long they were opposed to it. So I am looking at that ordinance with Sue Cadlick to make sure we're ready for any potential application for small cell placement here in the city. There's another one where ordinances, if we change an ordinance, even the ones that don't need public hearing, we have to now post the final language 10 days before you vote on it, starting in August. So you're going to there are a couple things that need some changing that I'm hopefully going to have you address in July before that starts, and then some of the larger things you'll start seeing the language to you. If there's something you want me to review and then redraft, it's going to take 2 or 3 meetings, where before it would take maybe 1 meeting because of this requirement. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on anything you think we need to work on. We're going to take some time to do it now.
All right.
And then that's pretty much it. Chief Bloom and I went through, so on the ordinance updates on yard and maintenance, as we talked about at several last ones about some yards and some houses. We've always had administrative tickets, but we do have under our ordinance, some of them are misdemeanors, some of them are petty misdemeanors. We have never put them in the judicial system. City administrator could have had the city attorney do that, so we now added some of them, so they'll now be citations that will go through court. They'll either have to pay it or go to if it's not a payable, they'll have to go. So we're looking through all the ordinances to see which ones have those and which aren't in the court system that should be, to update our ordinances with the court system, and probably be done with that this summer, getting everything properly into the courts for citations through the ticket rated as opposed to administrative tickets. So they'll have to pay the judicial branch, and then it would come back to us later, as opposed to coming down here and just paying us directly. So that's just for everyone to know that it is something we've been able to do. We just haven't done it, and we are now going to start doing that.
Okay.
And also, some of the ordinances need some updating as it relates to yards and furnishing and houses, and so we're looking at some sample ones, and I'll have those for you. I hope to have that one done for July, one of the July meetings, for you to look at and decide if you want to enact it or not.
Okay.
Last, this weekend with the storm, the generator was needed here, and it's not working right. I mean, it's working, but it's over outputting. The output is higher than it should be. So we're in the process. We don't think we need a new one. Our emergency management director, Mike Dockendorf, is looking into a part replacement as opposed to a full generator replacement. So we're hoping it's just the part. And I should have more information for you at the next council meeting. Hopefully know exactly how much the part is and where we can get it, and that it's not a huge expense. And finally, I'm pretty sure we don't have to do any affirmative resolution to allow our 2 liquor stores to sell on Sunday. But if it's something you don't want to do, we do have to have an ordinance on that. So I just want to put that out there for you to decide. You don't have to now. And I haven't heard. I'm assuming they want to, and I don't think we have to do anything, but our language is a little vague. So I'm checking on that.
Or
Keys
liquor store.
and
What
Tia's.
about bars?
They've
They can-
always,
They can
they've
do
had
it?
Sundays. Yeah,
Okay,
or yeah, they can do it too.
they can do it too.
I believe so. I'll check into that. That's it.
Any questions for Bridget? Otherwise, we'll move on. Thank you. Number 13, list of bills and additions. Recommendation to review and accept payment of the accounts payable according to the list and supplemental list presented by city staff. I need a motion to pay the bills.
I'll make a motion.
Shannon makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Jamie seconds it? Okay. Wasn't sure which one you guys seconded. Okay, Jamie seconds it. Any discussion on it? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? Motion carries. General questions and comments from city council. Jamie Knapp.
Nothing for me there.
Doug Schmitz.
Nothing.
Shannon Miller.
I do not have anything today.
Gary Tyson.
Cold Spring is in a tornado watch at the moment.
At the moment, okay. And I have nothing. Number 15, motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Gary makes a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Shannon seconds it. Any discussion? Otherwise, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? That motion carries.